Okay, there we go. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, here we go. I'm not gonna throw this at her head because that's probably not very nice. Okay, so those of you that I just mentioned online, if you're a winner, message Stephanie Meester and tell her that you're a winner and that you want your prize and give her your address, and she's gonna send me a beautiful little list because she's amazing like that. Okay. What was I gonna talk about? Oh, I know. So, well, I'm gonna tell you something, but not really tell you. Okay, so top secret information. Ooh. Nobody in this room knows. But me. Well, I'm not actually gonna tell you. I'm only gonna tease you with it, so that's gonna be kind of fun. Jerk face. I have a jerk face. It's awesome. I don't even care. Modular mates are gonna come. I'm not gonna tell you exactly when, but they will come out. And there's going to be another color choice for lids that we've never, ever, ever had before. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm just going to tell you, but I will say I'm pretty sure you'll like it. How's that? How do you like them apples? All right. Okay. So there's that. That's exciting, huh? Isn't that exciting? I know. I tried to give you that little tease. I know. It's so exciting. Tell me what it is. I'm not going to tell you. Okay. What? You can guess all you want. It's not, I'm not going to tell you. And I don't have a tell, so no matter what you say, I'd be like, that's an attractive face. I know, right? You might do this okay, anyway. Clearly, I'm not enough sleep or coffee. Okay. I asked Heidi Meyer to come up and talk to you for a minute about something. She just looked at me like, what? What? You know about it. Come up here. So,
what do you? I think, or is this something that
just come up here. I'll tell you when you get here.
Well, I don't know if it's about this or if it's about something else. We'll make it up as you go.
Why does it matter?
We don't know. Stephanie's supposed to be first.
Your hair looks cute, Heidi.
Well, thank you.
So does yours. See, I like curls.
Yeah, okay, hold on. So what I want Heidi to tell you, and then I'll have Stephanie tell you something after that. What Heidi's going to tell you is how to book custom kitchens using the internet, using Facebook, using the right words to get them booked. Stephanie will then follow her with, she's going to come up and show you what to do, how to do a custom kitchen, what to do. Now, here's what I want you to do. Those of you that are on Facebook land and you're scared to death of people, and you have an oxygen tank, or I'm not really sure what, no, I'm just kidding. Why you hide behind your computer and it's so scary. I always laugh at the oxygen tank because some people say they like hyperventilate every time that like, they think about coming outside the computer. Like, yeah, I know, it's so scary. Here's what I want you to do. I'm talking to you very clearly right now. I want you to listen to, when Stephanie tells you how to do a custom kitchen, I want you to listen very closely, because there's no good reason that you couldn't have a FaceTime or a Zoom or a whatever you want to call conversation with somebody, and you could do this from far away without actually physically being there. So I want you to listen with different ears, because I don't want you to be like, I'm never going to do a custom kitchen, so I'm not listening. Neener, neener, neener. Okay? I don't like your neener, neener, neener. And when modulars go on sale, like I talked about earlier, huge opportunity for like large amounts of sales. And if you are going to hide behind your computer and ignore them and post that they're on sale on Facebook and hope that some people buy them at their parties, you're going to miss the boat. I'm just going to tell you right now, you're going to miss the boat. You're not, you might get some orders, some here and there, but I'm saying blow it up is what Modular Mates do. They don't just get a few orders. So the only way you're going to capitalize this, and I want all of you to capitalize on this. I'm telling you, this is your winter that turns the beginning of next year into amazing right here, if you capitalize on this effectively. So she's going to help you get some book with some, she's, sure, I mean, whatever. I mean, she tells me how to do something. Well, maybe do the first part, let her do the second part, and then do the third part. Recruiting at the end. Anyway, you're just first you're just going to talk about how to do it. And she's going to talk about how to do it. And then you're going to come around and talk about how you do it. Yeah, that. Okay, anyway. So I just want to make sure everybody is listening, even if you're a Facebook partier and you hide behind your computer and you're terrified and everything I said today about home parties still made you shake and whatever. Okay, I still think you should like get out behind your computer, but besides the point. beside the point, if you're still going to hide, you can at least hide. You can do a custom kitchen from afar. You don't have to be sitting there. You could take a FaceTime and have them show you your pantry. Everything that Stephanie is going to teach you how to do, you could do from behind your computer if you had them set their phone up or their laptop or their iPad up and show you. Well, I mean, you could just, honestly, literally. It says right in the catalog, a rectangle I'm going to make up a size here because I don't know what it is, 14 inches high or whatever. Like, the data is right there. So, anyway, but first, I want Heidi to talk to how do you use Facebook or the internet or whatever postings to book custom kitchens. And you got to do it a little sideways because we have the social media policy. So how do we do it legally but kind of sideways? Does that make sense? Here we go. Take it away, Ms. Heidi Meyer.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it up to Heather James to find the post on Rock On where I had the wording
James
originally.
looks at her
So
phone.
there
Okay.
you go, because you had your phone out. So, okay, so just a little bit of background. I have Christina Maltby, Nancy Thomas, and Stephanie Yertaylor was one of my directors. All three of them directors in my org, helped build my org, and all because of custom kitchens. Okay, so that was the very basis, the beginning of when I first started. My first director, my first and second director were because of custom kitchens. So that is, I mean, that's where I'm coming from on this, is building a business that way. Second one, she's talking about Stephanie gonna show you how to do this and you guys don't wanna leave your house. Now, it's a great excuse for me to fly to Vegas in the morning, but I did a custom kitchen online with somebody, all virtual. She sent me pictures and I trained my team how to do this. I did it all virtual. Now, she can set up her own pantry in Vegas, but I needed a reason to fly to Vegas, so I'm flying tomorrow to go set up her pantry. You know, because it's a tax write-off, right? And I get to go have fun in Vegas setting up her pantry. So how do you get them with the social media rules, right? Because we can't mention Tupperware. And if you have not done them before, because that's a little scary, right? I'm going to go into somebody's house. I kind of go in and I just make myself at home, and I let them know when I walk in, I'm going to make myself at home. So that's just me. But I did a post in moms groups, in local buy-sell trade groups, in moms groups, and I said, how would you like your pantry to be organized like this? I need somebody to help me where I can come out and practice doing custom kitchens. Nope, there's no, and I'm not saying the word Tupperware. You cannot say the word Tupperware. You can post a picture of a pretty before and after organized pantry. There's pictures all over the web. Just search Tupperware Modular Mates. You're gonna find a ton of before and after pictures. Post that and just say, how would you like to live the before and after life? I need people that will volunteer to help me. I need to train team members. Maybe that's it. I need to train somebody on how to do this. If you've been doing it for a while, I couldn't post in my mom's group. I need to practice doing custom kitchens. Can I come out and practice? Because they would all go, wait a minute. Well, you've done half of ours.
The first round she did practice. The next
So
year.
that's what I'm saying. Right. So I couldn't say that. But my very first round, and the wording is in Rock On that Heather's finding, says,
Give me a minute.
yeah, when you find it, let me read it. It says something to the effect of, I need to practice. Will you let me come practice on you? No obligation. I just need to practice. I probably did that month. Originally, I probably did 15 pantries that month, went out and practiced on. I became really, really good at them. And I maybe sold half of those.
The upside to her saying practice is that nobody expects her to be perfect. It took a lot of pressure off of her when she was new, especially. So if you don't 100% know what you're doing, it will make you feel less like you have to know 100% because they're not expecting you to be perfect. They're expecting you to practice.
So
That's huge.
So I said, hi ladies, I could use your help to practice Modular Mate pantry cupboard design. There is no obligation to buy and I don't charge you to come out. Please PM me if you're interested to set up an appointment. And my other one just said, hi ladies, I could use your help to train a couple of my girls on my team on Modular Mate pantry cupboard design. See, I didn't say Tupperware, but I did say Modular Mate. There's no obligation to buy and I don't charge you to come out. What happens a lot is people will ask, well, how much do you charge for that service? Now, when you go out there, I'm going to tell you something very key. You never, ever, ever leave them the plan that Stephanie's going to show you. She draws it out on graph paper. Do not leave that house and leave that plan there. Because they're going to take that plan and they're going to go to Walmart and they're going to try to buy some knockoff. Now, it's not going to work for them, and they're going to fall all over, and everything's going to leak and whatever. But they have your now plan, or they're going to call their friend. Hey, Sarah, I know you sell Tupperware. Some lady came out and laid this all out. Can I buy my modular mates from you? So never leave them the plan. You go and you lay the plan out. You show them what it could look like. You take some modular mates with you. You take a picture so they can send it to their husband and say, this is what I want for Christmas, or their wife and say, this is what I want. And you leave them an estimate of what it will cost to do. And then you follow up with them the next day or two and say, so did you get a chance to think about it?
Speaking of Secret Santas, because we've been talking about Secret Santas, it is also another thing that you could do, but to say to a mom's group, to a women's group, would anybody think that this would be the best Christmas present ever? If you wanted to give me contact information, I'd be happy to talk with who's buying Christmas gifts for you and maybe make it happen for you, right? I've been snuck into houses before. Not kidding. Snuck in, measured, have you been snuck into before, Stephanie? Yeah, where husbands have had me come in and meet me. They've met me at lunch, like at the house. I've come in, measured, figured out the whole pantry, left, bought it, had another sneak in appointment where I came in and put them all in, and she came home and I got pictures and posts and videos, and you're like the best, coolest person ever. And I'm like, I made a killing, by the way. like, so to be clear, I mean, but he wanted it to be done for her, totally done for her on the fly, and I did it. I mean, how cool would that be to come home and your husband had that done for you? Like, it would still be cool, and we sell it. Right? Like, if you haven't done your pantry yet, and you're just like, you know, your director to do it yourself.
I still, and I do, even when they're not on sale, probably right now I do 1 to 2 a month custom kitchens, not on sale. They're spending a heck of a lot more money. I'm not going to tell them that I know it's going to come on sale. But what happens is I've done the daughters, and I just did the mother, because the mother had gone over the daughters over and over and over again, and finally said, I can't take it anymore. I want mine to look like that. And she called me out in like July, and I did hers. So
you don't have to just do it because it's on sale. We do them all the time. And then they tell their friends, or their friends call them and go, who's your contact? I want that. I went over to a friend's house, and they had drawers and things put in their house, and I said, who's your contact? I need my inside of my cupboard. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same kind of thing when you go to somebody's house and go, I like your blinds. Who's your contact? I need new blinds. Or I like, it's your contact, right? So you get referred to. You can also, Heidi's scared of this, but I don't think you should be scared of it. You can also say, if it's not a surprise, if you have 3 friends over to come watch me do it, I'll have a gift for you. Every time I've done that, all 3 have ordered and or placed or scheduled me to come do their pantry.
Yeah, it's a lot different to see them. Yeah.
And all I didn't even engage the 3 people. I gave them all a catalog, and I went about my business with the host. What's this? Do you buy chocolate chip cookies like this? Do you buy, you ask the questions. Is this how you normally buy this? Is this how you normally buy this? Okay, you need a rec for, okay, you're writing it down. The people behind me are watching, paying attention, talking. I mean, they were there for hours, right? 2 of them booked me to come to their house. The other one placed an order for 2 full supersets, figuring she could mostly do her own, and then would call me. And then I think she called me when she had sold them and added a few more containers. I did not solicit them at all. That's why if you say to the host, I'll have a gift for you, and by gift, you can bring them a couple ideal little bowls, or, I mean, it doesn't have to be a big gift if you have 3 people there just watching me do your pantry. Don't be embarrassed. Everybody's pantry looks like that. Everybody's pantry is attacking them with pasta. I mean, if you open up your pantry and spaghetti's coming at your eyeballs, you're like everybody else, right? And maybe they're only comfortable with their mom, their sister, and their aunt or whatever, but they want a gift. Their mom, their sister, and their aunt are more than likely going to place an order, and you don't even have to solicit them. They just sit there, talk amongst themselves, shopping.
Do you do that as a party then, or do you just like when you're?
I don't give them any party benefits when I do a custom kitchen, because it's not a party. If she wants to, and she's going to talk a little bit more at the end about some options and things you can do. But I will say, if you want to have a reveal party, I will count these sales into your party. Right, everybody comes and sees your pantry while we do a Tupperware party, then I'll count that in. And if I know that's going to happen and it's going to be a reveal party, and I'm going to say the cursed word, so I'm sorry, I will order those as a Tupper Connect. I'll set it up. I'll tell her that's what I'm going to do, and I'll order them as a Tupper Connect. And they sit in the party open for 45 days, and I can connect to it the rest of the orders from the party. then that's how she gets sales. So if I know she's planning on doing that, there's a way to do that. But that's assuming you don't recruit her in all kinds of other pieces. So
And I'm excited about, I was not excited about these, it's taken me a few days. But when you do custom kitchens, a lot of times people do have those drawers that they pull out and they keep their flour and stuff in the drawers. These are great because they don't have to take them out of the drawers, they can just open them up and scoop and close them back in.
or kids for granola bars and snacks and things that you want. Like my 7-year-old, do it for yourself, please. Please go get it yourself.
Because the baking stuff a lot of times is really heavy in those up in a cupboard. Now, I only sell rectangles and super ovals, I don't do squares. But these are great for those people with the drawers, with
In a
all
drawer,
their
it
baking
doesn't
stuff in
matter,
the drawers. Then these are fantastic. So I was excited about these because of that.
In a drawer, it doesn't matter because in a drawer, you're looking top down. It matters in a pantry or a cupboard because of the depth, but in a drawer, you pull it all out. So it doesn't matter.
No, Stephanie's-
All right, Stephanie, take it away. I brought you this if you want it. I don't know how well. I brought you that if you want it. I don't know I don't know how well it'll.
I found it.
Should I be banned?
I know, she needs one of those sticky pads.
Right?
I bought the last one on clearance the other day.
I use mine all the time.
A piece of top. The modular is over there that you need that.
Yes.
Okay.
I will. Okay, so when you go to a custom kitchen, you.
There's a lot of things I can say about that.
You need a catalog and you need paper. Graph paper. Graph paper. I will bring one of each super oval and one of each rectangular, just so I have it for reference. But if you have a measuring tape, you don't really need it. You do need a measuring tape. I forgot you need a measuring tape. Okay, so you need a measuring tape, or you need a set of.
I just bring a 1, 2, 3, and a 4, and I measure with the container.
Yeah, it depends on their setup. But yeah, either way works. So the first thing I do is I look at their pantry. I decide, are we going to do one shelf at a time? Like some of them, you know, they've got the big, huge everywhere. I will do one shelf at a time. Or if it's just a small, you know, a couple of shelves, we'll just take it all off. Okay. I empty their pantry. Not everybody empties their pantry. I empty their pantry because they're going to feel a lot better when they wipe it all down. Like, I don't clean it out for them, but they want to wipe it all down and they want to make it look all pretty. And they want
It's been 10 years.
yeah,
since they've
it's
done
been
that.
10 years. It's been 10 years, seriously. Sometimes longer. So I start making a list. So as they take everything off, they wipe it off. I'm like, okay, now since we don't have the modular mates right now, we're gonna put things back on the shelf one thing at a time. And this one thing at a time, we're going to ask you a couple of questions. We're gonna say, what quantity do you normally buy it in? Sometimes you're gonna say, I haven't bought that in 10 years. Here's the garbage. No kidding. Like seriously, you will throw away half of your garbage. It's disgusting. And that's okay. That's okay. That's why you're there. So is this the quantity you buy it in? Okay. If yes, then that's what you're gonna write down. So I'm gonna write down flour, 5 pounds. That's what they buy. 5 pounds of flour. Okay. Do you pour or do you scoop? Well, I scoop my flour. I want to put my measuring cup right in it. And then I'll put rectangular next to it. Okay. And then I can reference the chart later what it is. Okay, which rectangular fits. Are you tracking with me so far? Okay, all right. So I'll make a big, huge list. Now we go to sugar. Do you normally buy 10 pounds of sugar at a time? Yes, okay. Write it down. Do you scoop or do you pour your sugar? Okay, and I'll do that with literally every dry good on their list. All of it. I bring legal pads, I like the legal pads because I can buy them in pretty colors like purple and pink. And then I will usually have 2 or 3 pages of legal pads of stuff that they want. I don't double up. I do one item per because I want scribble room and I want to be able to make notes and actually understand what they are later. So then I will, no, it's a big deal in my life. And so then that way I can look at everything. I have to be organized for me, right? So I've got a whole list of everything they need. Now I have to decide. I have on my phone, I have saved the chart in Salesforce website. In product knowledge, there's modular mates, there's a chart that says 5 pounds of flour fits in a rectangular tube. Okay, I black out the squares and the ovals because unless I'm doing an RV or a camper or a boat, I'm not going to use an oval or that one. Yes. Okay.
More
I
coffee.
yeah right. 3 wasn't enough.
I know.
No, I have corrected more people because in the catalog it says for shallower pantries and for deeper pantries. That's very misleading in my opinion.
The pictures.
Well, the pictures look the same, but it's not for deeper pantries. The average pantry, the average cupboard is rectangulars and super ovals. People don't think of that as a deeper pantry. So then they get the squares and the ovals, and I have to literally walk them through why they don't want squares and ovals on their order form if it's going to go in their cupboards. Squares and ovals don't go in your cupboards. Super ovals and rectangulars go in the cupboards.
Sidebar, when somebody comes up to a party and they do this, and they come up to the order and you find the squares and ovals and you say, now I just want to double check, because they think they're getting, it's cheaper.
Mhm.
Really their end game here is they think it's cheaper. It isn't cheaper, it's actually for how much you get for dollar amount,
yeah.
per cup or whatever. The super ovals and rectangles are a way better value, how much plastic, how much Tupperware you get for how much you pay. But I always say, okay, I'm just making sure, because when you get home and you don't like these, I'm not taking them back, because I don't want them either.
No, for real.
I
For real.
flat out say it, and I smile, and I go, I just want to make sure I did this disclaimer, so you don't call me and go, I don't want them. I don't want them either. So if you show you want to order these and you're never calling me back about it again, then we're good.
And
Unless you want to, and then they'll go, well, tell me again why I want. I'm like,
Because they weren't listening. Like you have to tell them 14 times. They weren't listening. Tell them
But
again.
just make, honestly, double. You could say, well, of course she knows what she's ordering because I talked about it at the party.
No, they don't listen.
Not really.
So I have a question, 'cause like in some older homes, they're not as deep as like some maybe the newer
Standardized
They're
cabinets.
standardized cabinets.
All standardized cabinets, unless you have like a old farmhouse or ranch house that Grandpa Joe built by
Or
So-
my first one.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
we can't speak of you.
No, like a few years ago, I was doing it. I got out my demo and I was ready, and the host says, "Oh, I hate those." I'm like, "Oh, well, this is fun."
Yeah, I know.
And so
I love
no,
it.
I know. I'm like, okay. She goes to her cupboard and starts pulling stuff out and throwing it on the floor. Didn't you have one where our host started throwing stuff on the floor too? I know. I don't know what it is about us. Just start throwing their stuff on the floor. And I hate these things. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna do my demo. This is before I said anything about it. I just like, here they are. That's all I had got as far as I've gotten. And I said, let me do my demo, and then we'll see if we can fix whatever problem it is that you have. Because I'm pretty sure I can fix it. But let me just see if my demo.
She had squares and ovals.
She had squares and ovals because she did her pantry, 40 million years ago, when that's what they had was the squares and ovals. And she says, that would fix everything. Because she was used to having to cookie cutter everything in, and you can't see what's behind everything.
So what you can't see
Puzzle
right
piece.
is.
Yes, and so she had 4 different sugars, and she had 3 different flours, and they were all over the place because nobody ever told her that she wanted super ovals and rectangulars. So if I see super ovals and rectangulars on an order form, I will talk them out of it. Like, I don't want it. I don't want them to buy it because unless it's for a boat or an RV or a camper, because that's what the size that they're designed for. So I scribble out the squares and the ovals. They don't get it. That's not a choice. Not a choice. Okay. So then I look. Okay. Well, she wants. Huh? Okay. She wants a 5-pound rectangular. Okay. Or a flour. My word. A 5 pounds of flour is what she buys. Okay. That's gonna fit in a rectangular tube. So I'm just gonna write rectangular tube. I'm not gonna actually write until I actually draw it out. Okay. So you do that for your entire list. I go through their spice cabinet too. Okay. Now, I don't care if they say, oh, I only want to do this shelf. Well, I'm going to make a plan for your entire pantry, including your spice cabinet, because then you have birthday presents, you have Mother's Day presents, you have Christmas presents, you have all of the presents for all of the years, and you get the husband's phone number. Okay. All right. So you've got this big, huge list. I know I keep looking like that's going to help me, right? So you've got this big, huge list of everything you want. If they pour, you want a super oval. If they scoop, you want a rectangular, okay? With flour and sugar, things that cool, powdered sugar, things like that, I make sure to add a little extra, because if they scoop their powdered sugar and they want to be able to pack the measuring spoon or measuring cup against the wall, you're going to need a little bit of a bigger one, okay? But you have to ask how much they buy at a time, because if you get a rectangular for just what they have right then, and then they go to Costco and buy 10 pounds, and you only have a rectangular 2, and you really needed a rectangular 4 to fit the full 10 pounds, then you're left with a half open bag. You defeated the purpose.
The other comment to that is nobody goes and buys 5 pounds of flour when their flour thing is totally empty. They buy 5
Right.
pounds of flour when they have 2 or 3 cups left in their container. So if you buy them exactly a Rec 2, a Rec 2 holds a 5 pound of flour. If you buy them this, it needs to be empty or they're still gonna go back to the same problem of having half a bag of flour stuffed in the back of their cupboard. So you always go with a Rec 3 if they're buying 5 pounds of flour.
Poofing room. That's what I call it. It's poofing room.
It's poofy room.
So you have this big old list. Are we okay so far? You make a big old list. Scoop or pour. Huh?
Is that on the recommended chart, or is this something you're just teaching us now? Like,
The recommended chart does not talk about poofing. The recommended chart will
That's
say,
a rock on patented word.
yes, the recommended chart is gonna say 5 pounds fits in this. That's the recommended chart. Not allowing for poofing.
Okay, so we've got a big, huge list, including spices. Now, with spices, I am going to point out if they do Costco spices, okay? Costco's not bulk. Costco's restaurant size. Bulk is where you scoop your own spices. Okay, there's a difference. So if they scoop their own spices, say, well, about how much do you buy? Okay, because they can take some places they'll let you take the spice container and they'll weigh it ahead of time. You can write in Sharpie what it weighs and then you can fill it right up. Some don't. You still have to use their plastic bag, but you can lay that plastic bag inside the spice container. So you know exactly how much you need and then take it home, dump it in if they won't let you use the containers right away. But if they buy Costco size, I tell them, well, for me personally, I mean, this is how I do it in my house. If I have a Costco size spice, I will get a Super Oval 1 and a large spice shaker. Because the large spice shaker is what I use, you know, to shake and maybe a teaspoon or whatever. But if I'm making a big old huge crock of soup, not that I ever do that, but if I ever did that, I would want like everything else there. Because if I still have that Costco, you know, the tall container, that's not modular, that's wasting space in my cupboards. But I can put that into a Super Oval 1, and then it's going to keep all of those bugs out. It's going to keep, you know, all of it. Yeah, the freshness, the moisture out, all of those things. But then you've got both. Between the two, there's enough for the entire container. Okay, so all of the dried goods, including the spices, big, huge, long list. Okay, we're good? Okay, all right, I'm ready. Are you ready?
Do you want it to look like graph paper or you just want to make it?
I'm gonna just like draw grids. Are you ready? Yes. Okay. Are you ready now? Are you ready now? Okay, she's ready. I don't trust
It's
you.
so hard not to move this right now.
So let's say that a Super Oval 4 fits perfectly. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a Super Oval 4. Okay, let's say you line your Super Ovals up and you can fit 6 Super Ovals. Okay, so there's the edge of the cupboard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Aren't those like the best lines you've ever seen? Yeah, this is why I take graph paper. No, I take lined paper because then I can just draw these lines. These lines are already there. Oh, I take graph paper. Yeah, then I'd have to remember the graph paper. So.
If you don't have graph paper, you can print it off.
Oh yeah, it's free. You can
Free online.
Yeah, all right, so this is my cupboard that is 6 Super Ovals wide and a size 4 high. Okay? Okay. So that's a 4. So this is how high the cupboard is. Okay? And 3 of those wide because that's 2 Super Ovals.
You mean the shelf?
Yes.
Not the cupboard.
Shelf, yes. So you'll do this for each shelf. Good call, thank you. Each shelf. Okay, so now if I know that she needs a rectangular 3, we'll go with a 3 since that's what Heidi wants, okay? That's what she said. We're going to block out, because this is a rectangular, 2 Super Ovals equals a rectangular, and it's a 3, 1, 2, 3, this is now flour. Okay, now maybe I know I have 2 Costco spices. I buy my garlic chips and I buy my onion chips at Costco. I'm gonna put those in a Super Oval 1. There's my garlic, okay? And there's my onion chips. Okay, and I'll block it out, I know it's done.
Can you explain because 3 plus 1 is 4?
Yes. Well, I mean, I'm not sure what you meant. I'm like, yes, 3
Well,
plus
no,
1
the
is
3.
4.
I
So
just like the way
it's not counterintuitive that a 3 and a 1 equals a 4.
Oh, God. I'm like, yes, I can show you that 3 plus 1 equals 4. I was lost. Sorry. Yeah. There we go. Okay. They're Legos for ladies. If you can add up to 4, then you can modularize this cupboard. shelf. I'm gonna keep saying cupboard. The shelf. Yes. So you just add. Okay, because a 3 plus a 1 that equals the 4. You're using the entire space. Is that better? Is that more? Okay, just making sure. Just making sure. I get lost a lot. It's okay.
Okay,
It's okay.
okay.
It's okay. I like it all.
So, but when you put the garlic and the onion, you put those in the ovals, though, right?
Right. Because this is a super oval one.
Super oval.
This is a super oval one.
2 of those will fit next to each other.
2 of them fit on
So-
top of a rectangular.
So then I would just
Oh,
do. All she drew, this is what Stephanie just drew.
That's the same thing.
I would
That
thought
is
you were trying to
4.
say you were putting the 2 of those next to each other.
No, on top. On top.
Right, but I thought you meant that you.
You're good.
Yeah, I am, because I was like, how does that work?
No, no problem. Huh? Vanna. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I need it. Then we have, what else? Sugar. We bought 5 pounds of sugar, 5 pounds of sugar at a time. Huh? Oh, no, you're okay. Okay. So 5 pounds of sugar fits in a rectangular tube. Okay. Sugar doesn't need poofing room. Powdered sugar does. Regular sugar doesn't need poofing room. Okay. Okay. 2 super ovals is 1 rectangular. A 2 high. There's your sugar. I make sure that when I write, I at least put some part of my letter over every single part of that box. Because if you just put sugar right here, then you're going to start filling in these squares too. Okay, that's just a me thing. I want to make sure that I cover some part of every part of it.
Explain why you wouldn't want to do a 1 for anything you scoop out of, like measuring cups.
Oh, because they don't fit. They don't fit in the super.
A
ovals.
1 cup measuring cup will not fit in here.
I
No,
see
I
what
mean
you're saying.
shallows.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. So like you wouldn't, if you were gonna scoop something, you don't want to put it in here. This is not a scoopable container. Spoon, yeah, it's a spoonable container, not a scoopable container. Okay. So yeah, rectangular ones, be aware of that too. If there's something that like a rectangular tube is just too big for, go to a super oval. It's worth it. Okay. And this one? It doesn't. Mine goes in the super oval because I can scoop.
I've had customers be frustrated that their powdered sugar was in.
Yeah, powdered
shallow.
sugar I wouldn't, but brown sugar doesn't poop, and that's my brown sugar.
Yeah. Just be aware of what you're putting in it.
Anyway,
Okay. All right. So then pick something. Brown sugar. Go figure. Brown sugar in my house goes in a super oval tube. And again, that's on the chart. What size fits what? So now brown.
I don't think anybody talked about this. I don't think there is an actual chart, a modular mate volume chart. It's in the Rock on Files, but it's also on the Salesforce website in product information. She goes out and empties the cupboard and asks about everything in the cupboard. I go out with the modular mate chart that has the list of everything, and I go down that chart and I go, okay, cornstarch, how much cornstarch do you buy? Baking soda, how much baking soda do you buy? And I go down the list kind of like an inventory list with them so that I don't forget anything, because for me, if I go through their cupboard and they're just happen to have not gone shopping for 2 months, I may forget the baking soda, the baking powder, that sort of thing by emptying their cupboard.
And for me, I've been burned
Right.
by the list too. So it's preference. Either way, there's not a wrong answer. Just
But
either
there
way
is
is
a
fine.
list there, so you don't have to know that 5 pounds of flour fits in a rectangular tube. There's a cheat sheet, and it
Mhm.
tells you exactly where everything fits. And it's on the, like I said, it's in the product
Mhm.
information.
Yeah.
It's great.
I guess.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear that.
It's
I was ignoring you.
I know.
I need to hear it again, so.
She was ignoring you too. We're about split half and half.
It's hard. It's hard.
we're having fun.
This is where your beans go. This is where your pasta goes, and this is where your pasta goes. Because everybody only has 2 pans of pasta, right?
No.
Okay. All right, so this is one shelf. Label out first. Cupboard. I know, right? See, I'm still calling them cupboard. Shelf. Top shelf.
So, I have a question. So
I do sometimes. I'll talk
Shut
about
up,
that.
So
What?
does it matter like that there's brown sugar with pasta or
That's what we were just discussing. Yeah, just.
oh What?
Kirsten made me sit here.
It depends. So this is a mock-up. So yes. So I do look at centers. So we do generally have 4 centers. There's our pastas and our beans. There's our cereals and our breakfast. There's our baking, and there's our snacks, and then spices if you have spices and stuff like that. Okay. So I would look at that, and normally there are things on that shelf are going to be the things that should go together anyway. I'm trying to pull stuff out of the top of my head.
Yeah.
So yes, you would put your flour and your sugar and your brown sugar, your powdered sugar. You put all of your baking stuff together. You would put all, but every once in a while you have that hole.
Yeah.
So let's say we had a hole right here that we just couldn't fill. I don't know what it is. I'll say, do you ever buy like salad toppings, or do you ever buy, you know, that little thing of raisins that you don't use, or mini chocolate chips you don't always get? And just start naming off a bunch of stuff. Okay, we're gonna get a super oval one to fill the space, and you can decide what you're gonna put in it at a later point. It can be your rotating container that you don't always have the same thing in. Things like that. But for the most part, yes, centers.
The other thing is you would have centers, but let's say the top shelf is the only one that's going to fit a super oval 5. Okay, so your breakfast stuff is on shelf 2 or shelf 3, but you need to put cereal somewhere, and they need to go on a 5. That means your cereal may end up here with your baking things, because it's the only shelf that a 5 if they don't have adjustable shelves.
Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, you need to make sure that they don't have young children. I know, right? I know, and I don't want to get out of bed to get it more. Exactly. That would be my job. You what? It depends. It depends on their pantry, because if they might have a walk-in pantry with the shelves on 3 sides. They might have just upper cabinets and then a Lazy Susan with their cans. They might have enough cabinets that they can do cans all on one shelf and then modulars on 2. It depends on their setup, and every kitchen is different.
But what about with kids though? You don't want them to get to the cans and drop them.
That's
I don't
never
know.
been a problem. I've never had to deal with that. I'm just gonna leave that right there. Okay, are we doing okay so far? We're okay? All right, huh? Yeah.
Is that list that you're talking about questions of what products could go in those also with the chart?
Oh, yes, so they've got 4 different pages of like, oh, here's your baking center, here's your, like, they have the 4 centers there with what size goes with what, how many, 2 pounds and then 5 pounds, and yeah, you bet. Okay, so you've got everything lined up. I like to go through and do it because with the list, I've tried the list before, and I've had hosts say, oh, that's hard. I'll let you know when I'm done. They never let you know when they're done. No, I know, but I want to actually do it. And this is just a me thing. Like I said, it's not a right or wrong. This is a me thing. I want to make it look pretty because then they want to have me back because I made their kitchen look pretty. Did I cover everything she wanted me to cover?
What do you do for labeling?
I just got a label maker.
Okay.
I got one at Michael's.
And so when you say you do it, you mean you actually?
I'll go back if they're local. If they're local, I'll go back. And this is, like I said, this is, well, like Kirsten said, you can do this all virtually as well. And you can have them take stuff off the cupboard, or you can just say FaceTime them so you can see what's on their cupboard, and you can just start making a list. And then you can go through the list with them. Or you can just take the list and go, do you buy this? What quantity? Do you buy this?
Okay,
What quantity?
so I gotta clarify this. I do not just sit down with them with the list and do an interview with them. I actually go to their pantry with the list, and we talk through I do pull out in their pantry, but I don't take everything out, set it on the floor, and then put it all back,
Oh, I put it on the counter.
or wherever.
It's way different.
But I mean, I stand at their pantry with the list and I go, okay, let's find where these things are. I don't sit down and interview them because they would get bored and I would get bored and we'd have
I was
to
gonna
move
say,
on.
I would get.
And it wouldn't make any sense because we constantly have to go to their pantry and see what they have. But I use that interview list on a clipboard, and then we go to their pantry and we actually go through the list with their pantry, and I take things out. Usually I leave and their pantry looks a heck of a lot better than when I came, because I've actually organized it a little bit for them.
And you
Just by
realize
going
that they
through.
don't use that and just
Yeah.
throw it away.
Well, and I look at expiration dates. People are horrified because I actually look at expiration dates. When Kirsten was moving, I looked at her expiration date. Yeah, you better. Modular made queen. We had a couple of garbage bags at Kirsten's house too. Yeah.
So, you know, you're taking everything out of boxes that had expiration dates on. Are you at least writing on there? when
I
this
asked
thing was
him,
purchased,
Do
or-
you buy this? Because if they, maybe it was a thing of chocolate chips that was from 4 years ago, but they have the chocolate chips that they've been using, but it was over in this cupboard because this was buried and they didn't even know it was there. So I still say, do you buy this? I mean, we're gonna throw these ones away, but do you buy this? Do you buy it recently? Do you buy it regularly? What quantity do you buy? Do you pour it or do you scoop it?
Right, but do you put that on the containers?
Yeah,
You know,
they
like
should.
cut it off the thing and then scotch tape it on there so you know when they open the
The-
thing and
she
dump
want-
it in.
She wants
Oh,
to
no,
know
no,
if
no. No, because in modular mates, you're gonna seal it. You're gonna get much more life out of it.
I know.
If I'm worried about that in my own pantry, I have a dry erase marker
Yeah.
in my junk drawer.
Yeah.
And I just write on the side, I mean, you have to test it, I'm not
clear
sure if that would be good with modular mates.
No, you can, on the clear side, you
Yeah,
can
on
use
the clear
a dry
side, you
erase.
just write like what date you bought it, because right, with the modular mate, the expiration date is really a sell by date anyway in the store. So you're gonna get like many more months after that, but I'll just dry erase on the back or on the front, and that way when I use it, I'm like, oh.
I've been known to like cut the expiration date out too and just tape it to the side. of the
Yeah, that's
lid
what
or
you're
just
saying.
tape it to the
Yeah,
side of the
I know,
box.
because that's so much work. It's so much easier. Actually, I just open it. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's, if it's something sensitive, like maybe yeast or something like
Does it
that.
still crunch? Yep, we're good. So questions on a pantry. Like this is just one shelf, but I would just continue to do this for the next shelf, and then the next shelf, and then the next shelf. So we're done. Yeah.
What would pasta, bacon?
Pasta and beans, baking, cereal and breakfast, snacks. Yeah, and then spices.
Those are on that.
Yep.
You can get on.
I will try to find.
Yeah, and it's in
post it.
Salesforce website. Yeah.
What do you do with cabinets that are too deep that are not standard?
Okay. All right. No, this is good. So in cabinets that are not deep, you have to do a little bit of math.
No, too deep.
Too deep. Different depths. I know what I meant. You have to
I'm
do a
thinking
little
of my
bit of math.
own cabinets as
Yeah.
well.
So yeah, so there will be that super deep one. Those are usually 2 rectangulars deep, and most of it, the more current ones, they have pull-out drawers, so it's fine.
So
You can
would-
still use it.
Question,
Yeah.
to jump off of that, would you then take your graph paper and do it in more of a bird's eye view then? Because you know that you're able
Yes.
to do 2.
Yes,
With the stack.
my personal preference.
3D each year graphic.
Yeah, I get out my 3D printer.
You know what? I just did a cupboard at her house, it's a 1940s house, and I think that pantry was originally a coat closet because it was really, really deep. And so what we did, she had very limited counter space, and I said, you know what? What I noticed on your counters, you have a lot of stuff here that you don't necessarily use every day. So we labeled her cupboard baking center, and then we put in the back her seal-a-meal, her mixer, these things that were taking up all this space on her counters are now in the back behind modular mates in her pantry so that she can pull it up. And I labeled on those shelves what is behind the modular mates because she's gonna go, oh my gosh, what did I do with my seal-a-meal? And be going through every single shelf. It's labeled there. And so that's what we do. We store, I never do modular mates double because you're gonna forget what's behind them. It's why we don't use ovals and squares. If I have this, if this is the setup, I'll hold it up. If this is the setup in my pantry, I have no clue what's in these back modular mates and I will never know because they'll just hide back there. So I put stuff back there, mixing bowls. I mean, all the that's a bowls.
Well, and what I will do is I'll say, can I just look in your cupboards? I mean, get her permission and then literally open them all, every single one. Well, this is where you keep your waffle iron and your griddle and all of this. Is there a reason that can't, yeah, like, is there a reason that can't go in that really deep cabinet so we can modularize this and make the most out of the space? Like, why would, it's amazing to me how often prime cabinet space is used up by stuff that they don't hardly use that much. Yeah.
That makes me realize mine is deep, but it has short shelves. And I can never reach them.
Yeah.
Because they're low and it's heavy for me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take out my dishes and everything and put them in that cupboard and then put
Totally.
my modular mates where I can reach them.
Yeah.
Or people have a whole cupboard filled with fine china that they use twice a year. Well, put your fine china behind your modular. You use it twice a year, and now you've got a whole cupboard open that you can put wine glasses
Oh
in.
my gosh, you just
Priorities.
Look there, I just saved her cabinet.
Well, I have china sitting up there that's what I'm doing with it. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Have you learned something today?
Rick's gonna get really mad when I tear apart the kitchen.
You can blame it on me. I'll take it. Never Heidi's. I can take it. It's okay.
It's like, I'll blame it on both of you. He'll take it.
Okay, all right.
He'll believe it.
Yeah, there we go. Done. Any other questions?
Yes.
Huh? Yeah, you do that.
I mean, we didn't do it.
So so Lazy Susans, there are the little ones and there's the big ones, right? The little ones, I don't tend to put much but spice shakers on them. I really don't. I don't like the little ones. The big ones, like I have the big corner cabinets on the bottom that have the big, huge, I mean, you know which ones I'm talking about. They're like this big Lazy Susans. Okay. I put cans on one of them, and then I put I'll do like an oval and then around and an oval and around and an oval. That's the upper cabinet one that's like this. I'll do an oval and around and I'll flour it. Okay. Like a flour, making a flour, not baking flour, but making flour. Okay. With the big ones, that's where I'll put all of the stuff that you don't put in modular base. The big ones is where I put the cans and I put the stuff that hasn't been opened at all yet. What else goes on those?
It works really good for people that have the round lemonade containers. They don't want to necessarily put that in a modular mate. They want to keep the round
give them a
hot
choice.
chocolate containers.
They put it in a modular base.
Well,
Yes.
I try to not
There's
give
no
them a
choices.
choice, but sometimes if they have these other things, a lot of times what I find are those, if they have those big corner Lazy Susans, cans end up being too heavy for them. My very first pantry, we had a round Lazy Susan. I measured it all out with modular mates. She went to put the modular mates in and the thing wouldn't turn because the modular mates, I didn't flour it. I didn't know.
Yeah, it does
Kristen had
depend
to come
on.
help fix it.
Yeah, no, it does depend on the Lazy Susan because mine has a built-in shelf. So the weight is not an issue. I could put my kids on that and it would be fine because it's on a shelf.
Whenever they have that, I always say if we have space for modular mates, what I try to do is I try to take stuff in other cupboards and use those cupboards for modular mates and say, you know what, all your bowls that are up here, let's take all your bowls and put in your Lazy Susan and let's put modular mates up here. I try to never put modular mates on a Lazy Susan. I try to tell them, let's repurpose your Lazy Susan for something else and then move your modular mates to a cupboard. And we just repurpose. Put the fine china on your Lazy Susan.
My Lazy Susan is up higher, and I have my Quick Chef and my Chop and Prep and my Power Chef and my Smooth Chopper.
Oh, yeah, that's smart because then you can turn it and find whatever.
It's really fun, actually. Spinning choppers.
Are we good?
Christina.
Yeah.
So what about, so obviously we don't want the boxes in there with the glue and the bugs
Right.
and all that.
Right.
So what about things that have directions on them that you might need?
Okay, so say they buy Minute Rice and they buy it all the time. They have Minute Rice. You find the modular mate that will hold a whole thing of Minute Rice. You're gonna cut out it that one time because the directions don't change. For 48 years, you're gonna make Minute Rice the same. Like it's the same. And I will tape it to the inside of the lid, or I'll tuck it in the front of the, like I don't even tape it. I just tuck it in front so they can see it through the box. So all the rice is right here and the directions are right there.
And
You don't have to cut out new directions every single time you buy rice. It's the same.
And I've had two people, they do a couple of things. One, they'll tape it to the inside of their cupboard door, because that's where they're the inside of their pantry. Or the last couple, she went and got a binder with protectors, sleep protectors, and just slid them all in to make like a cookbook. So it's just a cookbook for her.
What about like,
Well, that's what she did. I'm telling you what she did.
when people buy like, I don't know, rice-a-roni or whatever that hamburger stuff is, they buy like multiple kinds.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I'm
So
worried
that
about.
like a rice-a-roni box or a hamburger helper
Yeah.
box, you're not going to empty that in.
Right.
So I will do like a Rec 4, and I will line all of the boxes in there, and I'll explain to them why I'm doing that. And sometimes they won't go for it. That's on them. If they get bugs, they can throw away their rice-a-roni. I don't care.
Okay.
But I don't buy those. But when I did buy them, I would line them up in a modular mate, and I would still seal that lid on because if there's bugs in them, I want them dead.
So at least if you had that problem with the glue and the bugs and whatever, it'd be contained to that modular mate still. Okay.
What I tell them is a lot of what we're doing with modular mates is we're corralling things. So I end up with several of the Rec 4s. We have a baking one. It's got their sprinkles and their 5 different kinds of cocoa and their chocolate bars and their cupcake holders. I'm not going to have them buy separate ones for all those things. I may just do 1 4 and it's got their baking, miscellaneous baking in it. If they buy macaroni and cheese and they like different, they're going to have one with macaroni and cheese in it, and that's what it is. I'm corralling things in their pantry. I don't want to leave there with boxes that are falling over because we just didn't solve their problem.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed, like we go to Costco and we buy like the big bag of basmati rice
Okay.
and the big bag of jasmine and that kind of stuff.
Well, and you can buy the 25-pound bag of flour. You can do all of that.
But what we do is because the directions are different for both, I just cut out the directions and we just put it in there with the rice and it's labeled with what kind of rice it is. And that's how we've gotten around it. And we do the, you know, Annie's mac and cheese for kids. If you don't want all the chemicals that is in Kraft or whatever, those 10 boxes for $10 will fit in those modular mates.
Yeah, you can put box food inside the modular mates.
Yes.
That's what we're just saying. All
Alright, so we almost near the end?
I
Do
think.
you want to talk
mean,
about
unless someone else has
recruiting?
Yeah, give like 5 minutes and then we gotta hop to the next subject.
Okay. So the pantry I'm going to tomorrow, her cost was $816.86. Okay, so this is a good pantry. Of course, I'm flying to Vegas because I make good money off of it and I can buy my plane ticket. But this is what I do, you guys. Normally, I mean, I printed this off just so I had the numbers in front of me. As a consultant, her cost would have been $703.27. And her cost actually would have been less because, okay, so modular mates, let's say they're gonna go on sale in January, okay? When do we get to buy samples? December. So when do you wanna start doing your pantries? November or December. You guys wanna start laying out your pantries in December when we know, like the beginning of December. Why? Because when we get those sample sheets, and when I go out and I do Sarah's pantry December 2nd, I can go, well, this is how much it's gonna cost, $816 and such when I come back out. But as a consultant, you're gonna be able to buy one set of this on sample and your sample cost is gonna be this. And then you're only gonna need this many more and your consultant cost is going to be this, okay? Now, Kirsten and I talked a little bit because when I sign somebody up as a consultant with Tupperware and they're gonna get the consultant cost. Now I've gone out, I've spent all my time laying out their pantry, right? And now I'm gonna get them to sign up as a consultant and they're gonna get their pantry done at cost. I've given up my commission, so I've just worked for free. And all of you are gonna go, oh my gosh, I just worked for free. Where's Nancy? Because I'm making a lot of money off of Nancy right now, right? Stephanie Yertager as a director. I just made a lot of money off of Stephanie Yertager as a director, right? Nancy recruited Audra. Audra's killing it right now. I'm making pretty good money off of Audra. And I may have given up my commission for one pantry to make money off of them in the future. So what Kirsten has taught me, and she had to teach this, she had to pound it into me, to be honest with you. It was painful. Is to look ahead. Don't look at what your immediate result is going to be. Because if you go, okay, on this pantry for Robin, I can make $116. Or I can give it to her at cost and not make anything. Right now. Look ahead at what your future could be off of this. What's your future relationship going to be with that person? Stephanie Yertager is one of my best friends now. That's my future relationship I made with her because what, I didn't make $100, right? Nancy and I get to talk all the time. I love her. That's my future relationship there based on this. So you have to look ahead at this. I do give up my commission if I recruit somebody based on a pantry. I also built my team because of pantries, and you guys can do it. But you have to lay it out to them. You have to walk in when you lay out their pantry and you lay out the cost. This is what it's going to cost you is this. This is what it's going to cost you as a consultant. And I would say practice yourself at home. Be your own customer and be your own consultant. Practice it. You can put it in the system. I don't know if you guys know this. You can put an order in the system and then you click this little button on your order that says show consultant detail.
Yeah.
Put it in the system and then click show consultant detail and you'll see the difference. If you need to cheat and practice a couple times. Maybe I would say the first couple times I did this, I did the pantry, I laid it out and I said, when I get home, I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you, I'll call you tonight and I'm going to tell you what it is because I was too uncomfortable to do the math. Okay? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I want to be clear, and I asked her to give you that data. We're not saying you have to work for free. So nobody's saying that. I want to make sure that's very clear. You can go do a pantry and you can take the commission and it's okay. Like, so I asked her to show that option because if you're choosing to work your business looking forward and you're willing to take a little bit of a hit right here, it's sort of like when Audra said, I want to come back in December. I need to kill it with my parties in November because Kirsten may or may not have given me a challenge. She's funny like that Kirsten. So she opted to take a little bit of hit right then and give away more than she normally did because it was worth it to her for what she was choosing. Now, did Audra have to do that? Did anybody tell her she had to? Did anybody even suggest it to her? No. But she was forward looking in her business. And I'm not saying that's what you have to do, but I'm saying I want you to know what the choices are and what the options are, because if you are looking for, recruit's always the answer. RITA, Rita is my best friend. Recruiting is the answer. Okay? So a recruit is always the answer. Always. And sometimes it hurts a little in the moment because you're like, I really wanted that thing or that whatever. I promise you, a recruit is always the answer because that's your business forward. So there's a little hit right now. Sometimes maybe you don't get the prize or the bonus or the thing or the whatever. And I'm not going to tell you have to. But if you ask me my opinion, and sometimes you guys do, what should I do, Kirsten? I'm going to always tell you what has the most future in your business. What's the price today versus what has the most future in your business? Heidi sat at my kitchen table and cried. That part she's not going to tell you. When she did a bunch of pantries and was like, I'm not making any money. And I said, you're doing all the right things. I said, by the way, I didn't tell you to do that, FYI. I know, I did it. I couldn't stand it. And she goes, because they were going to get this great deal and I wanted the recruits, but she was like, but is it really going to be worth it? Is it like, she was really torn with what it was worth and how much financially she wanted the money and how much their family needed it at that moment. And I said, I'm not going to make this choice for you. I said, but you are doing the right things to build a business. And I've been doing this long enough to know that when you do the right things to build the business, it doesn't take that long and they pay you back, and they usually pay you back 10 times. And I said, even though it's hard for you to see right now, and she literally was sitting at my kitchen table with tears, and she will tell you, I said, I know it's hard for you to see right now. And I know you don't see what I can see, but I promise you, you're doing all the right things and it does come back to you. Just give it a little bit of time. It doesn't even take that long. And it really didn't even take that long. She saw a huge benefit. Within 6 months, she was seeing a huge benefit on it. And she was like, you were right. I'm like, I keep trying to tell Kurt. But so I just want to make sure I'm very clear on the fact that nobody's telling you to give away your commission or that you have to or that that's what you need to do. I just want to show you that's an option in a scenario where maybe the recruit, especially like I said earlier, what did I say? You don't stop partying. This is the gravy. So if you're doing parties and you're already doing your massive business and all this, then this can be the recruits that build your business while you're still doing what you normally do, right? So, yes.
There's a lot of kind of short-sighted chatter on the chat.
Okay, there's short-sighted chatter on the chat.
They're asking about, well, what if they recruit and then they do nothing? That doesn't help you and then you're
Oh, sure. So Heidi recruited probably 10, maybe. Let's just put one year. Let's just say 1 year she recruited 10, and of those 10, probably like 3 or 4 of them actually did something. Two became directors. One of the directors promoted a director, who's probably going to promote another director soon. Heidi's. So 2 years ago, when did you sit at my table with the tears? Was it 2 or 3 years ago?
What time?
like modular mate's probably almost 4 years.
I think it was 3. I think it was the second round. So I think it was 3 years ago Christmas. So I think we're just about to 3 years ago Christmas. Whatever. It was the Blue House. I do remember it was the Blue House. I think it was 3 years ago Christmas. Like it'll be 3 years ago Christmas. And Heidi is $12,000 away from $1 million. 14,000. She's not counting the pennies or anything at all.
Oh, $14,606.
Yes. Okay. $14,606 away from being $1 million organization. When she sat at my table and cried, which wasn't quite 3 years ago, she was a $20,000 team, maybe. So in a year, she don't even know she was 20. Close. 20, 40, 60, 80. So that's probably a $220,000 a year team to $1 million team. So you tell me. I don't need to tell you. I think that the 3 or 4, she probably recruited 10 and only 3 or 4 did anything. The 5 that didn't do anything, who are they? Nobody knows or cares or remembers.
They're my good customers, actually.
They're probably good customers, yeah. But what I'm saying is, it's like, remember that guy who quit? Neither does anybody else. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. I mean, I'm just saying, sometimes, and this is just a great example of, it's not modular made, it's not anything. This is actually just a great example of sometimes you can't pinch pennies to make dollars.
I do have another idea of something I started doing.
Okay.
Yep, I did. Okay, I forgot about this. So last year I did a couple pantries, and this is what I did. I left them with their pantry, and they didn't want to spend quite that much money. And so I said, you know what? Let's hold a party. Let's let your friends order a bunch of Tupperware so that you can get your pantry for free. And then when I recruit them, that becomes their grand opening party. I keep the commission from all their friends' orders, but as the consultant, they get to pay cost for their pantry stuff. So I still made money. I had another party. I booked parties off of that because maybe my person is a dud. She just wants her modulars at cost, right? So let's say she has a party, 2 or 3 people book parties. She doesn't want to go do those. That's my continued business. I get to go do those 2 or 3 parties. I get to keep the commission off of all those other orders in the party. I still get to recruit.
50% of the people who tell you they're never going to do anything do a lot.
Are sitting in this room.
Hello. I mean, almost all my directors said, don't put any pressure on me. I'm not going to do anything. Okay, whatever. The fortune is in the follow-up. Yeah, you could be a dud. Maybe the dud is you because you didn't follow up. And I'm saying that with all the love in my heart. But when you don't follow up and you sign her up and she says all she wants a discount and you never do anything with her ever again, the dud in that scenario is you. And it's not because you didn't, the fortune is in the follow-up. Heidi didn't recruit Nancy and then never talk to her again. Right? I didn't recruit Stephanie who told me, I don't want to sell. You promise I don't have to sell. All I have to do is get a kid. I just want freezer labels. I promise you I didn't do nothing. I promise you I popcorn trailed her all the way there. Oh, by the way, you get this cool thing. And oh, by the way, if you just place an order, you get this. And oh, by the way. And she was like, this is kind of fun. Then she says, what happens if somebody said they wanted to do a party. I never seen a party. What do I do? I said, why don't you come watch me do a party? Oh, that's a great idea. You know, I mean, it's the conversation, it's the follow-up, and it's not that you're pressuring anybody. It's just, oh, by the way, you also get to order samples at a high discount. Here's the sample sheet. Let me know if you want me to walk you through placing an order. Oh, a sample sheet, you know? Oh, by the way, you're in this thing called the Confident Start program, and you're only $200 away from the next prize. If there's anybody you know that wants to order and you get the next prize, you're going to get this free thing. Oh, right? That's what popcorn trailing is for somebody who starts off maybe not wanting to sell and then they accidentally run a business. We have a lot of accidental businesses in this room. So all I'm saying is, yeah, sure, you can be short-sighted, you can be negative, you can choose. And I'm not, once again, not saying that is the route you have to take, okay? But sometimes the back door route is as good as the front door, you know what I mean? So I have had, in my personal experience, more success with the ones that told me that I'm never gonna sell than the ones that told me I'm gonna be amazing. Stephanie, what do you think? Would you say? I bet you and Heidi would agree with me on this. I've had more success with the ones who told me they weren't going to sell than the ones who started off saying, I'm going to sell and be amazing.
Oh yeah, the more they fight, the better they are.
Right? This is what I say to Kirk. Oh, watch her come. Here we go. And he laughs, and I'll be in and I'll hang up, and he's like, he goes, you were like luring somebody, weren't you? I'm like, oh yeah. She told me no 6 times. And he was like, did you win? Of course I did. Like, Kim McGee told me no 5 times in one conversation. And at the very end, she was like, all right, fine, I guess I'll try it. But I only want to do a catalog party. Okay. And then she goes, wait, you booked parties off my party, didn't you? Yeah. Well, I guess I could just do those. Okay. Whoopsie, she's a director too. Oh, whoopsie, she's a 2-star director. She promoted 2 directors. All I'm saying is that the ones that fight you the hardest are it's a sifting process, and those are your little diamonds in the rough, right? The ones that tell you they're going to be amazing will disappear. And I mean, we've met some pretty amazing people that never did anything. Never even submitted a sale. Like, I thought you were going to be fast tracked to get the car. You got to enter an order first, by the way. You know. So anyway, I'm just saying. So just be careful not to be short-sighted in your business, and know that sometimes in any business, let's say I opened a store and I didn't have any customers. I got to go brick and mortar. I got to build this building. I got to do this thing. I got to hire employees. I got to do all this stuff with no customers. And then I'm going to open that door and hope like heck I have some pay for advertising, have a grand opening, do all these things, and hope like heck that people walk through the door. Did they put any money into that business without anything in return yet? Yes. They put a whole bunch of money into that business, hoping for a return. It takes pennies to make dollars. So sometimes it's the same thing. When Heidi did that, when Heidi gave Nancy her kitchen at cost or whatever, let's just say, and recruited her, she was taking pennies to make dollars. Do you see what I mean? That's her brick and mortar right there. She was building a building. And when you take a step back and actually kind of look at it, I'm not wrong.
She's never wrong.
Right? I keep trying to tell Kurt. Somebody's got to tell Kurt. You know? Somebody, but not me, because it doesn't work when I do it. Okay. So anyway, I guess it just really matters to me that you guys understand that, because short-sightedness is hard for me when I go, oh my gosh, okay, yeah, you can do it that way. Let me know how it works. You know, because when you look at the business farther out, and I can see farther out, and have I done anything right at all? No. I would think maybe just a few things, just a couple, one or two, right? I promise you, and this is a promise I will make to every single one of you. I will tell you when I don't know. If you ask me to do something and I don't know, I will tell you. But if I know, because I maybe have experienced it like 752 times, I will tell you this is the right way, and if you do it this way, this is what happens. I will never lead you down a path that I don't know. If I tell you this is the way and this is how it works, it's because I know, because I've done it 752 times and let 752 other people do it. So we know how to do it right. We've created a system. I mean, look around. Heidi's almost a million dollar organization. But when she gets there, she didn't get there on accident. And she didn't get there not frustrated sometimes. She didn't get there without tears on my kitchen table, right? I don't think there's a director. There's not a local director almost that hasn't cried at my kitchen table, at least one, you know, because it's hard sometimes to not see farther on. There are the tears. And what I say almost every single time, I can see farther than you. And I promise we're doing the right things. This too shall pass, and it does get better. And I promise there's a bigger picture out there. And they all get through it. And we're all fine. And here we are, right?
You make me cry, I'm going to be really pissed off.
What's that thing can I say? There must be something. No, I'm just saying. That's the kind of stuff that like really, like it. I mean, and not everybody's been with me long enough to know that I would never lead you astray. I won't do it. I will tell you, I have no idea. You can go down that path, but I don't know if it's going to work or not. And I've had that conversation with Heidi, with Stephanie, with whatever. I've also said, Heidi, don't do it. She said, I'm going to do it anyway. And they come back, you're right. I go, I know. She's like, well, I'm going to try it anyway. I'm like, okay, but I've tried it. It doesn't work. Okay, but I'm going to try it anyway. Okay. Then she goes back, you're right. That was a really crappy idea. Okay, I'm just telling you, I tried it and it didn't work. I've tried enough things or watched enough people try enough things that you just kind of know what works and doesn't work. And clearly we found the magic formula. I mean, success breeds success breeds success. I mean, look around. It's everywhere. It's happening every second. You guys are all part of it. So no more negative chatter. Okay. I don't even know what you were saying. It's terrible. But stop. I know. Just stop it. Whatever. Stop it. It's like mom. Everybody look out the window. Nobody talk to each other. Okay. It's the mom voice, right? Where they're fighting in the back of the car. Just stop it. Okay. So before we go to the next thing real quick, I have a little bit of recognition for you guys. Would you like to know? Yes. No. Just kidding. Hi. I have to stop the recording. Amy's getting all bossy with me, telling me what to do.